Heavy Pony. This is your favorite fluffy pony, Venomous Pie, the Pinkie Pie of this lovely little group here. Welcome to another episode of Bronimaniacs Discuss. I do apologize for not going as over the top as usual. I'm trying to keep my voice down here. But first off, we have our Trixie, David.
Magic will make you go places.
We also have our Mod Pie, Little Looney.
Shh, this is the most quietest podcast.
Oop, and I just did the wrong vector. Whoops. Yes, she is. And we have two voices that we haven't heard in a long time. Introducing his very first podcast as a main member, since he was a special guest the last time we heard from him. Please say hello to Misty Shadow, our Bonbon.
Hi, every pony.
Or Sweet Drops, whoever you prefer. And for the first time in freaking forever, we have our Spike of the group, Mrs. Elite Yoshi.
Don't you mean Agent Sweetie Drops? But yeah, I know I've been pretty absent for a long time here. Let's just say, for those who are outside of the group, let's just say that a lot of personal stuff has happened. I actually had to move through the house, and now I'm in the process of finding some work for myself. So, yeah.
And last but
What's the job search?
certainly not least, we have a Dream Sage who conveniently is a moon dancer.
You said Agent Sweetie Drops, and I'm gonna be honest, I've been trying not to, but I'm gonna make the reference. Agent Sweetie Drops, Agent Sweetie Drops. I had to.
I
Also, I
don't
just-
know what that reference is from.
Also, I'd just like to point out, there's lots of ponies with the word moon in their names. Moonbeam, Moon Dancer, Nightmare Moon, etc.
Yeah, in any case you haven't figured it out, or if you just haven't seen the title, the episode we'll be covering today, or tonight rather, it is a very, very popular episode that is known and loved by pretty much everybody in the fandom. This is Amending Fences.
Moon Dancers episode!
I'm just wondering how long it'll be until someone slips up and calls it Moonbeam instead.
Soon, TM. Emily Larson writes amazing episodes.
And he also signs pancakes.
And your face, literally.
And you guys know the whole deal. We go in a random order on one positive for the episode, out of many. And we'll be going in reverse order for our negative. Again, if we have any. Because
This is gonna
honestly,
be so hard for people to find different negatives, and it's gonna be so hard. I mean, it'll be easy to kind of widespread the positives, but still, like the negatives are gonna be hard, don't you guys think?
it was really difficult.
I have several negatives, but they're like so like minorly like negative, like they're not even like that
Like
bad.
nitpick.
Here's a negative. We need more Moon Dancer.
And after that, we'll give our final thoughts. So, let's see. Up first shall be... how about you start off there, Yoshi?
Huh. Well, I guess this is the first time I've actually been the first one. Okay. But yeah, Amending Fences. Yeah, I will agree. When people say that this is one of the most popular episodes of season 5, it really is. Like, I'm just gonna spoil it right now. This is probably my favorite episode of the entire season.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I love this episode. Like, I'm gonna be honest here, and probably as a spoiler, I don't have any negative thoughts on this episode at all. None. Yeah. But, yeah. So, what do I think of the episode? I honestly love this episode because, for me, the episode just feels like a love letter to the, feels like a love letter to the beginning of the show, if you think about it. I mean, let's be honest. We haven't seen any of Twilight's friends that she used to hang out with before the season premiere. The pilot premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, it really is amazing. Like, it's amazing how this episode made me think about, it makes you think about stuff that you normally thought that you wouldn't run into again, and then when you remember it, and you feel bad about like spending times with friends that you basically forgot about. Yeah, the emotional spectrum of it can really take a toll on you. And I can definitely sympathize with Twilight in this episode because of it.
I think all of us have gone through that at one point.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know I have. But yeah, I basically just love how this whole episode is just a love letter to the beginning of the show. I mean, and if you think about it, that one scene, the fact that they were literally able to make an episode out of one small scene from the season 1 pilot, that in and of itself is amazing.
Especially considering it is one of the first scenes in the entire show.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I've never really seen a lot of shows do that, where they end up going back to a scene from a previous episode and then they literally make an entire episode based on that one scene. You usually don't see that with shows nowadays, and the fact that MLP was able to pull it off flawlessly, in my opinion, was pretty spectacular.
That's because Emily Lawson is best writer.
Oh yeah, I should give MLA Larson credit. I mean the fact that, let's face it, following season 5, we had a lot of old writers end up leaving the show, and we had the new ones from season 4 who were coming into their stride with here, and the fact that around this time, I think was it MLA Larson and who was the other one? There was someone else. I remember she
Amy Keene Rogers.
Yeah, and Amy Keaton Rogers were the only 2 original writers left. I mean, yeah, that just goes to show you that they are some of the best writers that the show's ever had.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they were able to make I basically would agree with Voice of Reason when he said this. This episode is basically one huge love letter as a thank you to all the fans who supported the show, and I love it. I honestly love it. You usually don't see a lot of writers usually do that for their fans.
That in of itself is awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Slice of Life was the love letter to the fans.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, technically in a way, Slice of Life was, but it was basically, well, you know how like most people call the episode is nothing but over-glorified fan service. Given the fact that the episode had all background characters, but the thing was that...
I'm sorry, I was gonna say Slice of Life is essentially a love letter to the fandom's creativity.
Yeah, exactly. But this episode was a love letter to fans of the show overall, or at least those who have been around since the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. So, Yoshi, who do you want to pass it off to? I should point out that Dream Sage elects to go last.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't she always prefer to go last?
Well, given that this is episode in particular, there's your reason right there.
Oh, okay, I see. I see where we're getting at. Okay. So, I think I'll pass it off to Misty.
Oh no. Panics.
What, do you need more time?
I can do it. No, I've
always-
got like a whole list of stuff right now here. I'm good to go. Woo! Yay!
By the way, I never asked to go last, like ever, except for one other time, and that was the molt down. That's it.
Oh,
Well, and this episode too, but
Fair
not a
enough.
grass.
Trying to remember what the reasoning was for going last on Molt Down.
but okay then. All right, I guess Misty's up.
Yep, go ahead, Misty.
Okay. So my pro, I don't know. I just find it really relatable, especially like to Moon Dancer. It's just putting yourself out there and then being hurt. It's just like, I don't know. I find that really relatable. I've been there. I've had people stab me in the back, and so I guess my pro is that like I just really relate to it. I can't. I find it hard to like directly like say what makes the episode really good to me because it is good, but like really good, but I can't put my finger on it. And maybe this is just one of the things I guess I really liked about it.
That's a good thing to like, dude.
Yeah.
Who do you pass it off to?
Oh no.
Someone
roll some dice quickly.
it's either Looney, David, or myself.
If all else fails, just go eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
I'll go with David.
David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that would be me then.
You're the only David in here.
You sure about that? What can I say about this episode? I mean, this episode is one of my all-time favorites. You know, it has everything that I wanted in an episode, and I think you all would agree that, you know, the fandom really, you know, ate this episode up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it had a lot of good morals in it, and it was really, like Misty Bond said, relatable to today's friendship. And recently, watching this episode again, I find this is more relatable to me in the last few weeks of being online. You know, I do a lot of things for my friends, and you know, I like to receive appreciation, you know. But I guess getting to my positive about this episode in particular is that I like how we went sort of back in time to see Twilight's beginnings with her friends, Minuet, Twinkle Shine, and, you know, all the characters that she grew up with, basically. Like, this is way before she met the main six, or the main five, I should say. You know, Twilight just meaning herself.
Well, all except one anyway. Poor Lyra.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could have seen Lyra in this episode too, because kind of got me thinking, what was she doing during this time?
She was with me.
Okay, well that's tells me now.
She was sitting on the bench with Bon Bon.
She was with me. I love that. That was good. That was good. Yeah, but that was my positive. I mean, I just like how they do these episodes with, you know, more of a backstory, so we can appreciate what these characters grew up with.
Bye. And there's our unexpected
That was
Jedi
our cameo for the
cameo.
night.
What?
That was the quickest cameo I ever heard of. Okay.
He did the same thing I did last week.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to send it off now to our one and only Moonbeam.
Yeah, thank you for not mixing me up with Moon Dancer.
You got the floor, buddy.
Goodness. I have 3 positives written down for this episode. Which one should I pick?
Just close your eyes and pick to the one you point to first.
I'll
Pick
just
the
go
one
with my
you
first one.
Pick the one you like the best, and then just I don't know.
Even though Yoshi kind of stole half of my positive, but I'll read the rest of it. I did think it was cool that Minuet, or Colgate, Twinkle Shine, and Lemon Hearts all got a speaking appearance in this episode, along with some character development,
Mm-hmm.
as well as helping Twilight to get Moon Dancer to loosen up. Like, just little touches like Minuet taking a picture with Twilight, and Lemon Hearts with a haircut and a flask made some really good characters I wish we could see more of. I
Yeah.
don't believe they've gotten another appearance since this episode, have they?
Probably just in the background.
Yeah, in the background, yeah.
Besides background appearances.
They haven't really had a speaking role since that episode, I don't think.
No, they haven't.
It's kind of a shame because this episode gave them some good development. Made it seem like that Twilight was going to maybe try to see them more often.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to
just
assume
like
that she's
to do
seeing
that.
them and we never hear about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just like how Minuet was so bubbly in this episode. Like, she reminded me of Pinkie Pie, but like a blue Pinkie Pie. You know?
Just a lot more
A
just a
blue
lot.
Pinkie Pie. Wait. Are you talking about Minuet or Venom?
I don't know.
The answer is both.
Sure, why not?
You know what's even more disturbing? Minuet and Pinky are already friends, so
I mean, Pinkie Pie's friends with everybody.
it's true.
So I know I adore the continuity callback. Like, oh yeah, Minuet, she was one of Keynes' bridesmaids.
Yeah, that was another part I liked.
Yeah, I'm glad that
I just liked every scene where Twilight's old friends were together. It's a lot
yeah,
of fun.
and I'm glad they're addressing like callback to other episodes, like the Canterlot wedding when they were the bridesmaids and stuff like that.
As Silver Quill would say, continuity.
He said that so boldly that it almost blew up the entire world.
Yeah, that's my positive for the episode.
Yay.
So I guess it's my turn. Since Dream wants to go last. Okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. Do you want to know how many positives I wrote for this episode? Just this episode? Take a good guess how many.
10.
About a dozen.
8.
Oh my god, I was just about to say 8.
But if I had to pick one, and I'm surprised David didn't mention it, because knowing his Twitter history, I gotta say I love Twilight here. This is probably hands down Twilight's best portrayal to date, at least to me. I mean, it is essentially her best portrayal as an alicorn.
Well, I think this was too one of the first episodes where she, one of the first seasons where she actually is embarking on her alicorn princess role, right? So,
Well, if you don't count season 4.
if you don't count season 4, but like this is where she sort of really gets involved as, like I said, her backstory.
Yeah, but it actually presents everything that I really like about Twilight. I admire her when she actually is intelligent. I admire her humility, for lack of a better word. Even, I mean, yeah, you can make arguments that she was kind of putting too much pressure on herself because of her title, but in this case, it's still relatable because, well, we've all made this kind of mistake, whether intentional or not. I mean, I've gone through almost the exact same thing Twilight has here. Just action or lack of action, it can sometimes be enough to hurt someone, whether you realize it or not. Yeah, I mean, I would say that this is Twilight's best portrayal in this entire show. And I think I speak for almost everybody here that this episode really hit close to home.
Yeah.
That being said, I will not forget about our Moon Dancer. So take it away, Dream.
Yay! Have fun.
Geez, it's so hard to pick like really one positive because this whole episode had so much good in it. It's just mind blowing. Like I loved how probably one of the biggest things for me was kind of how the friends, you know, Minuet and them, they all just kind of moved on and did their own thing. They didn't think too hard on it. And, they were still trying to show Moon Dancer, who was the main protagonist of the episode, they were still there for her. They were there at her party. They tried to cheer her up. And, Minuet herself said, we tried to invite her out a couple of times after that, but after a while, we just stopped asking.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they were trying, like, really trying to still be friends with her, and she was the one who let it go down. And I like that it wasn't that they just, like, didn't bother. Like, they tried. They actually put some effort into it. That was probably one of my biggest positives, was the fact that, there was effort. She just didn't reciprocate.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I also really love the fact that as as after Twilight said her apology to them for being such a bad friend, I just got the notion that they believe that she kind of moved on, and thus they pretty much done the same.
Yeah.
But at the same
And
time, they are very Go on.
We don't normally see that from Hasbro. Normally characters are dumbed down or sometimes even completely out of character for a moment in certain ways just to fit the story. So that's why I love that so much, especially it's just because it is unique for Hasbro to do. And it's not a trope that we see that often, characters being smart and not dumbed down.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, here's the real tricky part. Do you have any negatives?
Negative. Oh, negatives. What do you say that's negative about it? Oh, jeez. That's like an actual, critique, not just a tiny nitpick. Like, how do you find something that's not just a tiny nitpick? Like, oh, jeez. Probably, I am probably going to say one of the things that overall I didn't enjoy, and I wish they addressed it a little bit more, was how it was supposedly all of Twilight's fault that happened, because that's not true.
Well,
like, it was Twilight's fault. Yeah, she forgot about her friends. She wasn't that involved in friendship at the time, and so she didn't think of the friends she'd already had. She got involved in the new friendship she made and studying that. But the thing is, again, the other three tried to still be friends with Moon Dancer. She had 3 other friends, and she decided to shut everyone out because of one friend. So that's probably going to be my negative, is because that was Moon Dancer's choice and not Twilight's fault.
I mean,
That's
presumably it's because Moon Dancer looked up to Twilight so much.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand, that she looked up to her, but again, that doesn't make it Twilight's fault. That's not on Twilight that Moon Dancer made those decisions. Now, granted, it may be understandable, given her mindset at the time and whatnot, that Moon Dancer would react that way, kind of shut everyone else out as well, but it's still, that's not Twilight's fault. And I actually love something Silver Quill said. How, wait, she has a sister? Where is this lady? How much better would this have been if she had reached out to Twilight? Like, that would have been a great way instead of having Twilight like at the last second be like, oh my god, I totally forgot I had friends in Canada a lot. If like Moondancer's sister came to her and was like, you used to be friends and this is how she's like acting and behaving now. And then Twilight could have had that little mini freak out, jump to them being in Camelot and meeting Minuet the same way, and then talking to Minuet about it, or having like her sister there also to be like, see, this is what I mean, this is the problem. Because then it wouldn't have just been Twilight's fault. It would have been, hey, she needs help because she's making some wrong decisions.
That's fair.
Like that, and again, that's like one tiny little nitpick to still an overall great story. Because again, I didn't say change anything else because the rest of it is great. It's fantastic.
And funny enough that I'm next because you kinda took my negative.
It's hard not to.
I know, but
Well, there is one negative that I can understand, but this is not really coming from me. This is more or less coming from, because there is a minority of people out there that don't like this episode, and I kind of understand why. And it mainly has to do with Moonbeam. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry. I meant to say Moondancer. Sorry. Just Moonbeam's been mentioned so many times here.
Yoshi, I don't think it. You went like right before. You went right at the first, I think. So isn't it somebody else is trying to do their negative first, and why don't you hold on to yours until it's your slot?
Well, I was trying to add on to what you were saying.
Yeah.
I know, but you said that's your negative, so you might want to hold on to it.
Yeah, okay, then I guess I'll just address it at the end then.
Alright. Okay, so my negative, well, okay. Like a lot of people, my negative is very, 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 very minor. But if it's just one thing I would improve, because let's face it, people, no episode is ever perfect.
Amy Larson is perfect.
But anyways, it's just one little minor negative I have is, wait, Moondancer has a sister? Where has she been? Where did she come from? I mean, geez, first shining armor and now Moondancer's sister? What the heck was it with this place with this no-show siblings? And the main reason behind that is because while I will agree the episode is pretty much flawless in the grand scheme of things, that is the only thing I would have changed a little bit. Because, it probably would have put a better light into its guild complex. I mean, true, guild would still be a factor here, but it would, at the same time, it would also be portrayed as like a rescue mission. Again, it's a very minor nitpick, as it didn't change my overall feelings towards this episode. But it's just something I had to get it out of the way.
I gotta say, since you used another one of Silverquill's quotes with the "What's up with the Camelot no-show siblings?" we need to just pay Silverquill all the royalties for this one.
I mean, at least her sister showed up within the same episode. Moondancer was introduced.
Yeah, touche.
There's a signing on until the end of season 2.
Yeah, that still bothers me. But I digress. So, let's see. I think it was Looney that gone before me.
Yep.
Alright, your turn.
My negative is, and that's it for my negative.
So negative is nothing.
I don't have one.
Yes, it did.
It's too hard on this episode. It's too hard.
Just let me put this in a better meaning. Better no negative than one.
Actually, Looney, you did say something before.
I did.
Yeah, didn't you say we need more Moondancer?
That's not really a negative, though.
I know, I'm just busting your chops.
It's at least a nitpick. I think this is positives and nitpicks.
Pretty much.
Besides, I can't fault this episode of Moondancer not appearing in future episodes.
It's like Lyra saying we need more benches.
Actually, come to think of it, the only time Moondancer showed up was in the first part of the Cutie Remark.
Mm-hmm. Along with Minuet. So, you got anything else, Looney?
No, I just said I don't have a negative.
Your turn, David. Good luck. Oh, wait a minute. Was it David or was it Misty that gone before you?
It was David, because I remember he
It's
passed it
David's
over to
turn.
me.
And then I think it was Misty after me. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, David.
Okay, this is like taking a chapter of your book there, Ven. This is very, 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 very minor nitpick. You know, it's kind of silly, like I said earlier. Who was running the library?
Eh?
Who was running the library when the librarian? Did she close down the library?
Oh, that's a scrape in the bottom of the barrel.
Well, I told you mine were silly.
I don't think it's the bottom to the barrel anymore.
Who did she close the library, or did she just leave it open? Because that was like if this was Canterlot's library, then that's a pretty huge library. And
Only you would come up with a negative like that.
well, I mean, I am Twilight Twixie Sparkle here, so I have to get some library in here, right?
Okay, I give you a book then.
Now, okay, this isn't this episode's fault, but I gotta ask. I have to wonder, of all the times the Moondancer had gone into that library, you mean to tell me that she not once discovered that secret passage in
I
Forgotten
mean, not even
Friendship?
Twilight knew it. Not even Twilight knew about it.
Fair point.
And she read apparently every book and knew every inch of that library.
Or so
and
she
yet
thought.
She never found that too. Like, let's just think about
Yeah.
that as well for a second. Like, if Twilight did not find it, how the frick would Moondancer have done it?
Yeah. Anyways, that's my minor note.
I mean, we all know how Twilight and Anna's Twilight goes over books. I mean, what?
Right.
Can you blame me? I mean, I love books. Books are like my apple pie.
Okay, I give you a bunch of books.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead, Misty.
Just don't try to eat a book
Okay.
like an apple pie sliced and with a piece of ice cream on top.
I once read a book about apple pie. It was delicious.
Okay, where
Oh,
am
I give you a book about quesadillas.
Let's move on now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Misty.
Sorry, I'm just scrolling through my list of comments here. Finding the one that's the least nitpicking. Oh no. Oh no. They're all nitpicky. Okay, I'm just gonna go completely off track here and just say, okay, my con's gonna be Starlight totally stole the show in this episode. She was hiding behind that menu at the restaurant, and that just stole the entire show, and it was over. Moondancer had no chance after Starlight made an appearance.
I was actually waiting for somebody to bring that up.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah, I noticed that upon first hearing. I was like, oh, holy cow. Are we actually getting another seasonal arc? Sweet.
Oh, let's
you
talk
guys-
about Glenn, but where's Daniel?
Did you guys also hear that apparently we only caught her when she was in the bush from the Discord episode and when she was there in the restaurant? But apparently there was a third time she popped up. Nobody has caught in that season, and I don't know if they ever like told you where to find her. Like I went through every freaking episode after I heard that, and I was like, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna see where she is.
Wait,
I
seriously?
looked, like, yeah, I swear to God, like the one place that I like triple looked because I thought maybe they stuck her in there was the concert with Rara. I thought maybe they snuck her in there because there's so many ponies in that shot, and I couldn't find her in like the background of any others. So like I triple looked through that one,
Hang on.
but I never found her.
Hang on a minute. She showed up in Amending Fences, and what about Discord? What do those two episodes have in common? They're both Twilight episodes. Is there
Well,
another
Twilight
Twilight
was also-
episode this season?
Well, the other thing was in that the reason why I thought she might be in the concert one, but I couldn't find her, was because Twilight's there running the festival, kind of. I mean, she's the host. She's the one who walks out. You know, she's the one helping make the list and stuff. So it could work. I mean,
I want to
I
put
never
a
heard her in any of them. So
I want to put a pass for putting her in there somewhere.
Considering she only made cameos in Twilight episodes, the one I'd say could be a possibility is probably the Hookfields and McCoults. Twilight shared the spotlight with Fluttershy in that episode.
Yeah, but I didn't see her anywhere, and I looked I looked everywhere, and I did not see her.
I mean, there are people that like pause the episode and do just frame by frame, and they're like, "Nope, didn't see any, Starlight in here," or searching background ponies.
Yeah, remember when Starlight used to be the Where's Waldo?
right.
Everybody did that. Where's Waldo?
I thought that was Derpy's job.
But my job is to.
I was just gonna say that too. I think that's more was Derpy's job until that season.
Yeah.
Or
If anyone knows like where she was the third time that we don't know about, like let us know because I want to know where she was other than those two places. Like where the hell was she?
or maybe it was Castle Sweet Castle.
I don't know. We don't see a lot of background ponies in that shot though. Even with like Twilight walking through the town, you only see like one or two here and there.
I'll have to look that up later because I'm curious.
Okay, we're on the topic of libraries, and I'm not joking. I was just looking at this randomly, and look what screen cap shows up.
Oh wow, yeah, that is pretty.
That is pretty.
So doesn't Elite Yoshi still need to give his negative?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. Probably a vibrating phone. So, Yoshi, are you ready to state your negative?
Well, okay, first thing I want to make clear is that this isn't actually a negative, but for me, but it's actually a negative that I've been seeing be tossed around for this episode. Because the thing is, it's perfect as one thing that I've learned is that not everyone is going to think that an episode is as perfect as everyone makes it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will admit, for me as an example, I think that Donkey Kong 64 is a fantastic video game. But there are some people who would actually disagree with me because of all the ridiculous crap you have to go through to get 100% of the collectibles. But I'm just using that as an example.
That's fair.
Because it was a popular N64 game, but there are some people called to the point that it's overrated. And this episode has been called overrated also, but not as much as, compared to the video game, but
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I will say. So yeah, the one negative that I do see being tossed around a lot is mainly at Moondancer herself. And I believe the minority of people, because when you take a look at Moondancer, yeah, after what she went through and after how hurt she felt by Twilight, she basically became her. She basically became that of an introvert, and I guess the negative for Moondancer is that I guess there are people out there who are introverts, and I guess they didn't exactly like the way that she was being portrayed as an introvert, which I guess in a way is kind of understandable, but I don't know. I mean, I know for like one thing, I know for like one thing, I know there are some people in the fandom like within the analysis community that aren't exactly fans of this episode, and I've actually listened to the reasons for it, and it's quite understandable. However, the thing to note is that the reason that they don't like this episode is mainly because it's because of personal reasons. It's not like anything that was morally wrong with the episode. It's just something of their own personal preference.
Hmm.
I guess what it boiled down to was how Moondancer was portraying the role of the introvert, and in a way, some people didn't exactly like how Hasbro and DHX went about doing it. So again, it's not my negative. It's just one that I feel like I think should be addressed because as as wonderful as I think this episode is, I think that it feels like it was important for me to at least explain why some people why the minority of people don't like this episode.
But,
And it's mainly down to Moondancer's portrayal.
I mean, I can understand the reason behind it. I mean, I didn't see a problem with that, and I myself am actually an introvert, and I honestly don't have a problem with that. I always thought that the main reason some people, as rare as it is, I always thought the main reason that why some people don't like Moondancer is because when you get down to a design, he is basically a Twilight recolor.
Yeah, and then you've also got those crazy people and then you've also got those crazy theories out there that say that's what Twilight would have ended up like if she had never made friends.
Which,
She basically would have become isolated and so focused on her studies to the point where she would think of just nothing. She wouldn't even bother with making friends. Because if you remember, back in the series pilot, she was very reluctant to go to Ponyville and make new friends, especially when she first met each of the main six, and she thought everyone in the town was pretty much crazy.
you know what's funny about that, Yoshi?
What?
Pony's not crazy. Me.
Well, that's how she thought.
Well, here's something funny. Didn't I? There was one time during the library scene where, when Twilight cut magic herself inside a book, which I'll admit is actually kind of creative. Moondancer says something like, "Okay, I have a whole lot of time studying. I don't have enough time to make some crazy friends. All right?" And I'm just like, hold on. Do I hear an ironic echo? Cause I know who she's talking to.
Yeah,
yeah,
because that was Twilight. That's what Twilight said in the premiere.
Yeah, I thought that was a little
that
funny.
that was too on the nose to not be intentional.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. While you were talking about that, I was actually reading Twitch chat. Twist of was it Twist of Eight?
Twist of Fate.
Hmm.
Oh, that was Twist of Dreams.
No, Twist of Fate. He's my boy.
Twist of Fate. Yeah, you know what? He actually brought up a really good point. See, I think the reason was that the way that Moondancer was portrayed in the episode to the point where she basically became antisocial, and I guess that's the thing is that I mean I'm not an introvert myself, but I'm pretty sure that not all introverts would normally be portrayed like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
agree that some of us are like that. Like me personally, I spend most of my time alone, except for hanging with you guys on here because I have horrible social anxiety. And in real life, I would have a panic attack and I would literally run the frick away from you guys just because I would be so scared of messing up and making one of you guys upset.
Mood.
Like, the fear is that bad for me.
Yeah.
And some introverts are better, some are worse. So it still is a good comparison for us because, like, not everybody's going to be the same, but we're still going to recognize those behaviors that are the same.
I mean, I'm the same way. Why do you think I get so lonely at college?
Yeah, but I think the thing is also that I think it has to also do with the fact that Moon Dancer chose to be that way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't exactly remember the reasoning for it, but I also that it also apparently they also didn't like how, oh, like with all the problems that she had, but yet she chose to be, because it felt like she chose to be isolated, and then it seems like and then it feels like she's putting all the blame on Twilight because, oh, Twilight, you forgot about my birthday party, even though Twilight did not realize how much it meant to her. But yeah, yet Twilight was still able to apologize, even though she technically didn't do anything wrong. And yeah, that moment actually made me appreciate Twilight. It made me appreciate Twilight's character a whole lot more.
I will also add to what you just said, how I love that part of the line where she goes, I'm sorry I missed your party, but please don't let my mistake be the reason why you can't be friends with anybody else. Don't let what I did be the reason for why things continue to go downhill for you.
Yeah, that line was beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Although, like, Twilight did do stuff wrong. She just kind of like up and vanished one day.
Well, she admitted it. That's why she was like, please don't let my mistake. She admits to it being her mistake.
Correct.
And I think it's high time we get to our ratings now, and that if I'm not mistaken, this should be a piece of cake.
Yeah, I know. I'll admit, I know that I didn't have any negatives, but I just feel like that it was something that I needed to bring up.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
So, okay, quick question. Is there anyone in here that did not get this episode 5 stars?
Was that a rhetorical question?
I take it from the silence as a no.
Yeah, right. The other silence. We're all pretty much going to give this a 5-star rating across the board.
Yeah.
I think this is the first for the podcast.
Really?
And, like, somewhere between 4.5 and 5, depending on like how highly we rate 5 stars. But like, I guess.
You think I could go 5 and a bit?
Yeah, this would probably be it. So.
Yeah, so no need to post any stars here because it's universal across the board.
5 stars.
We've got it, guys. We've got it.
That's fantastic, M.A. Larson. Well done.
M.A. Larson's
Larson, you need to write more episodes and get pancakes.
But he's busy writing books.
Right, well, he can write books and then come back and write more pancakes. No.
Wait, what?
Alright, do you guys mind if I close something off here before we go?
Go ahead.
Are we all about friendship? Yes, we are.
Alright, so. Okay, first off, yeah, do it. As much as we all give this episode universal praise, again, it's not perfect, like we all stated before. But, in my case, specifically, not only was this episode just downright fantastic in its own right, it is definitely... Okay, I'm just gonna say this right now. Amending Fences is hands down my favorite episode of not only season 5, but for the show itself.
Completely agree with you.
It's gonna
Yep.
be extremely hard to top this one.
The only one that comes close for me to this one was the Meltdown, which we've already covered.
Mm-hmm.
That one for me, because I love Spike as a character and I love his relationship with Twilight. So for me, that's like one of the second best episodes of all time right now.
And that being said, we apologize for being essentially too predictable, but hey, we can't help ourselves sometimes, and there is a reason why this episode has gotten the praise that it got.
And you can hear us fighting ourselves trying to find something to say for negative to like kind of balance it out. But it's hard. Like what else can you say? But it's hard. It was so well done. There's so much good that any little thing that is bad doesn't take anything away, and you just still enjoy it when it's all together and wrapped up in that nice little bow at the end.
I mean, if it's saying anything, I had 3 positives written for this and no negatives.
I had a bunch of stuff written down, but I was pretty stretching here.
Mhm.
Oh! I got one more con. I'm not quite sure if was Minuet named before this episode officially?
I don't think so.
She
Because
really
I
had
want to
an
like
official
read and
name.
say, but Colgate.
Yeah, I'm still gonna call her Colgate.
I mean, when these characters don't have names, they usually say Pony number 1 or Pony number 2.
Well, the
Until they get
fandom
an
named her
official name.
Colgate like before, way before this episode.
Yeah, even though we
I
found
mean,
out
I'll call her either one. Doesn't really matter.
Colgate
She's a
Minuet,
dentist.
yeah. I mean, the fandom called Derpy Derpy for years and years until we found out her official name on the show is Muffins.
No, her name is still Derpy. I don't care what Hasbro says.
And I read the credits, I was like, wait, that's her official name is Muffins? How ironic.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, well, first of all, her original name was actually Ditsy Doo. And
Oh yeah, I forgot too, yeah.
and second of all,
When they had to edit it and censor it because of crazy, idiotic BS,
Yeah.
not gonna get that.
I just don't know what went wrong.
which I'm not gonna address here right now because that is its own can of worms. But
Yeah, let's
that could just be a podcast itself.
Yeah, let's not dig up any old fandom drama, shall we?
I mean,
But digging up old fandom drama is the best. Twilight, Equestria Girls, come on, let's do this right here, right now.
we can assume, guys, that the topic of Derpy herself is a podcast all on its own.
mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, okay, yeah.
Let's finish this one up first.
Yeah, I kind of lost track what I said at first, but oh yeah. To close this off, I am gonna say this in the most unironic way I can think of. Thank you, Amy Larson, for delivering us this masterpiece.
I saw that one coming.
Thank you, Larson.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Sincere thank yous to M.A. Larson.
I mean, I kind of, in a kind of weird way, I know I'm stressing this a bit, but I kind of wish that this was the last episode he wrote for the show. I mean, this couldn't have been a much better note to leave off of. Unlike some outings. Famous misfortune.
Let's not dig up that fandom drama either.
Wait, what? A fandom drama?
Anyways, but yeah. If this really was his last episode, dude, you couldn't have left on a better note than this. So, again, thank you, Amy Larson, for contributing so much to us fans, and for delivering us these wonderful, wonderful episodes we all enjoy. And this was the top of your mountain. So, thanks, Larson.
Now, can you sign a pancake for us?
Yes. Sign my face.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Actually,
that's
don't sign my face.
but yeah, that's about it for this one. Thank you all so much for joining us in this wonderful episode. As for next week, well, we do have one more week until season 9. Well, 2 weeks actually.
But next week we get a new special.
That's right. Yeah, tune in next week for the new Aquestical special that's coming out. So we will be looking forward to that.
Oh, it's finally coming out.
Hype.
So look forward to that, guys. And until then, we will all see you then.
And all I have to say is that and I'm glad that I'm back.
And thank you
Bye,
so much for
everyone. Have a
watching, and
great
we'll see
night.
you in the next video. Wait, this is an Unbuckle video.
Bye, every pony. I love you.
Same
Bye.
brony channel, same brony time, same brony. Where am I going?
Same pony time, same pony channel. I don't know.
Out the door. You're going out the door.
May the
Thank you. I knew I was going somewhere.
may the floof be with you all.